Welcome to your August housing market update for Orange County. Today we're going to be taking a look at active listings, days on market, month supply of inventory, what the median home value is doing, and my expectations going into the second half of this year. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ian Phillips. I'm a realtor in Orange County, and I love diving into the housing market data, letting everyone know what's going on so you can make informed decisions, as well as talking about the economy, mortgage rates, and how it all ties into real estate. So if you're interested, subscribe for more and check out my website in the description below where you can browse for homes, get a home valuation, free mortgage calculator, and a step-by-step buying guide in there for you as well. So let's get straight into the video. Okay, so taking a look at the data here, we are still somewhat in a seller's market. Now this has shifted ever so slightly into more of a balanced market. I do want to talk about some specifics in price point because we are seeing a pretty substantial shift in the higher end homes compared to more entry level, which is under 1.5 million in Orange County. But those homes over 1.5, over 2, over 3, it's basically a buyer's market in that category. Homes over $5 million are now taking, on average, 1 year to sell. Homes over $2 million, between 2 and 3, are taking almost 9 months to get into escrow, and between 1.5 and $2 million, those homes are taking a little over 100 days to get into escrow, which is by definition a neutral market. And homes under 1.5 million, that is still considered to be a seller's market. So that is very important to know if you're a buyer or seller in any of those categories. At the price, it makes a very big difference on what the market is doing. So overall, Orange County, month supply of inventory, a little under 3 months. Sold to list price, on average, homes are selling for basically 1% below list price. We'll touch on days on market and median home value here in just a minute. But looking at the chart, you can see Orange County is still kind of trucking along. 1,208,000 for the median estimated value. Year over year change, almost 4%, and up 0.3% from last month. So there's still a lot of buyers stepping into the market, which is driving prices up ever so slightly. But again, it really depends on what price point we are taking a look at. As a whole, Orange County still outperforming California. If you're not aware, this has been one of the most desired places to live in the entire state. So many people want to get out of LA, get out of the Bay Area, and make that move to Orange County, which is why home values are staying at the levels they are here. So we'll take a look at active listings, which is a pretty good indication as to what's going on and kind of the hot topic of the year because active listings have increased pretty drastically in 2025. You can see at the start of the year, 3,000 homes were available for sale, and now there's basically 5,000 homes on the market, which is back to that normal market that I've been wanting for the last 4 or 5 years. A balanced market in Orange County is between 4,000 and 6,000 homes, and we are bang in the middle. So my expectation is we're just going to be entering a neutral market. Homes are probably going to sit for longer, approach that sort of 90 days on market, which is a balanced neutral market. I don't think we're entering this hot sellers market, multiple offers over list price situation for probably at least the next 6 months. Expectation for 2026, I'll have to do a separate video on that. I think it's probably just going to be much of the same, neutral, balanced market, maybe modest appreciation. I'm not expecting 10, 15, 20% appreciation like we saw in 2021 and 2022. So days on market, on average, taking around 42 days for the average home to get into escrow. Median dollar per square foot is pretty interesting. This has kind of just been on a slow uptrend for the last 5 years and probably forever. $735 per square foot. Now, days on market, obviously this is going to increase as we get further into the second half of the year. It always does. You can see here, December, November, 58, 70 days on market. We're going to see that this year as well. So if you're a buyer, second half of the year is always the best time to start shopping. Seller, expect your home to sit on the market for longer. There's less buyers shopping. The buyers that are shopping, more often than not, they're looking for somewhat of a deal. So that is all things that you need to factor in if you're planning on selling your home or if your home is currently on the market. Pending listings, this is an indication of buyer demand. Sorry, we'll go down here. Pending listings, 2,000 homes on average are getting into escrow. This has been pretty flat for the last few months. So that tells me there's still a lot of buyers shopping into the market. 2,000 homes is definitely quite a lot. It's sort of the average that we've seen for the last couple years. We're nowhere near these 2020, 2021 levels where there were 4,000 homes getting into escrow. That's something I personally would like to avoid because I enjoy more of a neutral market. There's a lot more negotiations that go on, and we're not getting buyers significantly overpaying for listings. So I like this market. I think Orange County personally needs to cool off for 2, maybe 3 years. Now, I don't really think there's going to be much of a correction because the demand here continues to outpace everywhere else in California. So I think it's just going to be a neutral market for a couple years. Modest appreciation, maybe 3, maybe 5% next year, maybe 0. We'll have to wait and see, but that's kind of my expectation. Second half of the year, I'm sure we'll get prices declining for the last few months. It usually happens, and a lot of that is really to do with less buyers in the market, and those people who are selling usually need to sell for some reason or another. Number of sold listings, a little discrepancy between pending and sold in this recent data set. So 2,000 homes are getting into escrow, but only 1,850. So on average, 150 homes canceled escrow last month. And that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. I saw a lot of buyers hopping into the market, get into escrow, and said, you know what, I'm just going to wait and see how the rest of the year plays out, cancel. We also had some sort of economic uncertainties happening in the stock market. That being said, I am working with a few clients right now who actually want to sell their entire stock portfolio and buy a home here. They are somewhat of the opinion that the stock market is pretty overvalued, which it definitely is. Check out my stock to real estate valuation video. Should be on my channel somewhere. But I definitely don't think that's a bad idea, sort of de-risking a little bit. If we go into a recession, house prices always outperform the stock market. It's just a fact. It always happens. So they're probably onto something if they're wanting to de-risk out of the stock market and into a house. Month supply of inventory, the most important set of data you need to be paying attention to if you're planning on buying or selling in the near future. 2.94. Now this did dip down ever so slightly from the previous set of data, but this has been on a pretty consistent uptrend all year. You can see in December of 2024, 1.84 month supply of inventory, and now we're basically at 3. So month supply of inventory, if you're not aware, it takes into account all available homes for sale as well as buyer demand. So pending listings, sold listings, all of that is factored into a nice little number called month supply of inventory. And that's really the main set of data you need to be paying attention to know what's going on in the market. If you like this video, subscribe for more. If you're looking for an agent in the area, reach out. I'd love to chat. We can go over a game plan, whether you're buying or selling, and see what makes the most sense for you and your situation. Also, check out my website in the description below. You can browse homes, get a free home valuation. There's a mortgage calculator there. You can play around with some numbers. And yes, there's HOA and home insurance as well as property taxes. So all of that will give you a pretty accurate estimate on what your mortgage is going to be, as well as a way for you to contact me if you just want to chat about what's going on in the market and what your plans are, whether you're buying or selling. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in my next video.